Here's the deal. I see my account growing here a lot, so I'm going to expose myself one little tidbit at a time. That way no one else can be like calling me out on anything because I'm calling myself out, okay? Here we go. Part one. I buy a little coffee every time I am dropping my son off at preschool. If I go to the grocery store, it's my like little, hey, you made it out of the house today. Like, you deserve a coffee. And some people might look at that as a waste of money. I look at it as self-care. Number two, I actually chased down my husband before we were dating. We met at a bar in Nashville, Tennessee. Crazy town, RIP, those who know, third floor crazy town. We met there after a Nashville Preds Red Wings hockey game. My husband's a big hockey guy. Was born in Canada, if that says anything. He was so busy with work and just living his best life that I would send him multiple texts. I was that girl, following up, trying to get a hold of him just so we could go on our first date. Speaking of Nashville, Tennessee, I lived there for 5 years, and while living there, I met Brett Eldridge at a bar with my friend Kenzie, and we sat at the bar with him and his friend for a while and chatted, shot the shit. I didn't get any pictures or anything because we didn't want to be weird about it because we were actually having a good conversation, and we didn't want to be weird, take a picture with me, but now we don't have any photo evidence, so now people don't believe us. Speaking of celebrities, I also met Thomas Rhett when he was still an opener. He was opening for Brantley Gilbert in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when I lived there when I was still in college. Again, with Kenzie. We were walking around downtown Grand Rapids for this concert. And I didn't even know who Thomas Rhett was at the time yet because he was still up and coming, but she did because she was always up, knew who was who. And she's like, I think that's Thomas Rhett out by his tour bus. So we literally walked over, and me being just obnoxious, I was like, this time I was actually obnoxious. I was like, Thomas! And he looked and he called us over, and we went and chit-chatted all day. I remember he had spent the day golfing at Notre Dame, and then they came up to Grand Rapids, and he was so nice. Number three, I vividly remember getting in trouble in the first grade for saying the Pledge of Allegiance too fast because once I learned it, I felt like I was hot shit. Like I knew that Pledge of Allegiance. And so when we would do it as a class, I sped through it for some reason. I was like, Pledge Allegiance to a flag. Like, why did I do that? But I got in trouble and I got told to not do that again. Speaking of weird things I did in school, I memorized the alphabet backwards because I was obsessed with the show Zoom. If you know, you know. That show was freaking amazing. And I remember it was literally kindergarten. I remember looking at the little strip you have of all your letters across your desk, and I watched the episode where they taught you about saying the alphabet backwards. And so every day in school I would just read it backwards over and over again because I was like, I'm gonna get that. If you don't see a trait developing here on someone who has to always achieve things, I don't know what to tell you. But I was like, okay, I gotta get this, and I got it. And so to this day it's one of my skills. ZYXWVUT SRQPONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.